Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and I'm going to tell you all of the books that I want to read in October. I have a very ambitious TBR for the month of October. We're not necessarily doing like a large book for the book club I do with my sister and my mom. We're going to do like a little novella, which is going to be Sour Candy, so I might as well just get that out of the way. I'm going to be reading Sour Candy by, I can't remember his name. I'll put a picture up. But yes, I got a very ambitious TBR for that. There's a lot of books I want to read next month, and even though I know we'll pick other stuff up in between, there's a few books I haven't finished, which I will get into my wrap up later. There's some books I really want to get to, and that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Okay, so will I get to all of them? No, I know I won't. I think I can get to a lot of them though. So let's just get started. I know what you're thinking. Connie, you've said you're going to read this since you bought the book. I know. This time I really feel confident that I will read A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. So this is like a little book about cannibalism. And in my last video about books I think you should read, I mentioned Kinsey Jennings, Reception. I said I didn't really have a lot of books that I read that had to do with cannibalism. And now I get book number 2 on the roster. Okay, this is about a woman who is a food critic who I believe turns into a cannibal of some kind. Yeah, food writer Dorothy Daniels. I'm excited. I've heard good things. A lot of people recommend this, especially on Book Talk. And you know, I know that a lot of people say Book Talk isn't that great for recommendations. I've gotten pretty lucky. That's all I'm saying. I got the recommendation for Reception from Book Talk, so I think it gets a stamp of approval from me. So A Certain Hunger, I would like to be reading it this month of October. Yeah. Since I am doing so good with reading what I own, I figured let me start reading Tokyo Ghoul. Now, this is a series I've actually watched. I've watched the manga, and I think like most people, I liked the first season. Second season, not so much. That's okay, it is what it is. But I have the first box set of this, and I figured, girl, read this goddamn thing because you have a lot of stuff that you haven't read. So Tokyo Ghoul seems like one that I really should be reading. I can't remember how many volumes are in the box set. It might be 11, it might be more. Either way, I do want to read this in the month of October. I figure, why the fuck not? Let's get her read already. So Tokyo Ghoul is a manga I will be reading. Another one I've said I'm going to read, what, 2 months in a row now? But it's gonna happen this time, and that is I Am Hero, and this is the omnibus. This is another like zombie apocalypse type manga. Yeah, I know that I said I was going to read this in September. I didn't. It might look like because there's a bookmark in there that did something. No, that's just on page 1. So I really want to read this. Okay, it's one that I don't know when I'm gonna get to it because I have so many like series. You'll see that when you look at my next manga haul video. So I've got a lot of series that I need to get to, and I wonder sometimes, am I ever going to get to these one-off volumes that I've bought? Since I don't know, I need to just grab one and go for it. So I Am Hero is one I want to read, and I will be reading in the month of October. So, you know, at the beginning of the month when I was like, I'm not going to buy any books, I was like, let me go to the library and be a responsible person. Obviously I failed on that, but that's okay because I got Clown in a Cornfield 2 Friendo Lives. I loved this first book in the series, Clown in a Cornfield. I listened to it as an audiobook though, and I absolutely recommend it as an audiobook. I was really hoping that the audiobook would come out on Hoopla, which is my library app. It hasn't. I think it will eventually, but I wasn't willing to wait because I really wanted to read this. So I kind of like, I have an Audible credit, I have a library. Which one should I go for? I figured let me just pick up the physical book because I really feel like, you know, YA slashers, YA, would you consider this YA? Young, I mean, they are young adults. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they read very quickly. Like you can get through this very quickly in my opinion. So I definitely want to pick it up. I have it. So for Halloween, I want to read this. I'm pretty sure I read the first book last year during Halloween too. That was my first intro into Clown in a Cornfield, and I liked it, so definitely will be reading this in October. And to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, finally, you know, I'm making my way slowly. I'm doing a decent job of reading my book of the month TBR, but this is a book that I've said I wanted to read several times, and I pick it up and I put it down. I'm just not in the mood for it. But I really, really want to read Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Morena Garcia. So many people say great things about this book. So I feel like, why not? It doesn't even seem like it's that long. I think that it's under 400 pages. It's not even 300 pages. So I feel like it's one that I could realistically read in a month and get it done. I'm almost done with The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. You know, I didn't feel like that was going to be scary enough for Halloween, but see, that's a book that I got for Book of the Month. I'm reading it, so I know that it's time to get to this one. I also have another book by Sylvia Morena Garcia, but I think it's from NetGalley. I can't remember the name of it. It's an audiobook. Maybe I'll listen to that, but now we're gonna get into all the audiobooks I want to listen to in the month of October. And this is where it really, really gets ambitious. I know you're thinking, Connie, that already seemed like a lot. No, there's a lot more, trust me. So as you can see, my beautiful iPad with my Hoopla app on it. I don't use this that often, sadly. I need to do better. I do want to try to read some graphic novels for Halloween. I read a lot like my first year of booktube, and the choices I had were like so good, and there's not a lot else on here that I want to read that's scary, so we'll see. So the first book I want to listen to is The Butcher and the Wren by Elena Urquhart. This is a new book. This is by that person who did a true crime podcast called Morbid. I never listened to that, but a lot of people like talking very highly of this. My coworker really likes Morbid. She suggested it, so I figured, oh shit, this just showed up on Hoopla. Might as well borrow it. So I really want to get to that if I can. Yeah, I don't know what it's about, and that's okay. This is where it all starts for me. Okay. Next, I want to read A Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. Now, this one I think is doable because it's only 3.5 hours long. Depending on the voice, depending on the narrator, it could be a lot shorter than that because I like to listen to books at 2 times the speed. This is really short, obviously 3 hours. I think if I were to read it physically, it would be like a novella. This is recommended a lot on like Horror Book Talk. And as I mentioned, I've actually liked the suggestions I've gotten from Horror Book Talk, so I'm pretty confident. Next is Whisper Down the Lane by Clay McLeod Chapman. You know, I don't even know if this is a big enough picture for y'all to see. I'll put another picture up just in case. But yeah, another book that's been on Horror Book Talk that people have spoken really highly of. This one's 8.5 hours long. I kind of started listening to it in the month of September, but I let the return go. That's my bad. As I said, Sour Candy, and that was by Keelan Patrick Burke. This one is the pick for my sister and my mom's book club, the family book club. We just wanted to read something like very quickly, 92 pages. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not the audiobook. This is the ebook. That's fine. I'm gonna be reading it on here. If it was an audiobook, I would listen to it anyway. And lastly, only what's on here now, I definitely want to read, I think this is an audiobook too, White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. A lot of people have recommended this book. I don't think I've read anything by Tiffany D. Jackson before, but there's a new book that just came out by Tiffany D. Jackson. What's it called? Something in Blood. The cover, it's like it kind of looks like Carrie. It looks like someone in a prom dress who's covered in blood. Can't go wrong with that, unless you're the person covered in blood, and then the people who did it, because you're probably gonna die. So I don't know what that's about. If that's on here, maybe I'll watch it. But there's a lot of books that I've put like in my favorites. I don't know if you guys can see that. And there are some scary books on here. So The Laws of the Skies is a book that is on Horror Book Talk. I think that's like when people suggest that that's like the extreme horror type thing. I'm not sure. This one's only 4 hours though. That might be a better choice. Anyway, it's September. As of right now, I have 2 more titles that I can choose, which I'm going to do because it just re-ups next month. I'll have 8 more to choose from. So if I'm good, I can knock out the vast majority of these early on. We shall see. And yeah. And then I can add some more if I want to. One of the graphic novels that I wanted to read is M is for Monster. And I can't make the picture bigger, so I'm sorry. So if you can't see that, if I look back at this, I'll make the picture bigger. But it's a scientist attempts to bring her younger sister back to life. Unexpected results in the Frankenstein-inspired Gothic novel about ghosts, identity, and family. So I'm going to read some graphic novels here and there. I figure, why not? I did it, you know, like I said, pretty much every Halloween now. But yes. So that is my ambitious October TBR. As I said, there's going to be some other books I'm reading in October that I'll talk about in a wrap up later, but I figured I wanted to focus on the scariness. Okay, since I gave y'all a recommendation video, I want y'all to see what I plan to read for Halloween. And as you just heard, it is very, very ambitious. So are there any books that you guys think that I should read? Also, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it says, "It's fucking Halloween." And this is by Tragic Girls, by the way. If I look back at this and you can't see the whole thing, I'm going to put a picture up. I'm going to put the website up because I really like shirts by Tragic Girls. Yeah, if there's any books that you think that I should read, you should suggest, maybe even an audiobook that you think is like, girl, read that, listen to that. Let me know down in the comments because I do like reading scary things. Also, if you have any scary movies that you suggest, I don't know what is up with me, but I've been watching a lot of scary movies, which I love. But I've been rewatching movies that I really liked from back in the day. So the other day I watched The Last Shift with my husband. I think it was called The Last Shift. And then I watched Let Us Pray. Love that movie. Very good. Obviously, y'all know I love The Descent. I watched that the other day. I might watch the second one at some point again. But if you have any other scary movies that you suggest, let me know in the comments because I would like to watch those. I know there's new movies that are coming out that like people are already talking about. What is that one? There's a new one. I think it's by A24 or something. I want to watch that. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about what I'm reading. Anything that you think I should prioritize first. Also, please let me know because maybe there's one that would be better than the others. And have you read any of these yet? And what are your thoughts? Let me know your ratings down in the comments. I'd love to know. So yes, with that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked the video, please like the video. If you like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell, you know the drill. Follow me on the other social media if you'd like. And yes, please have a good day. Have a good, spooky, scary Halloween. I want to see dressing up. I might dress up. I might do some reading vlogs with some of this. So if I do dressing up again, like I did last year, y'all shall see it. So yes, have a spooky season or a spooky month. Goodbye.